Niko Kovac's Dortmund travelled to Hoffenheim with ambitions of breaking into the top four, which of course would mean Champions League football going into next season. Their away form, however, not brilliant. I mean, they've won, 4 times out of 16 on the road. If you just pull the camera back slightly to get the bigger picture, that's not all Niko Kovac's fault because he didn't actually come in until late January. Having said that, they're up against a team in Hoffenheim under Christian Ilzer, who himself came in partway through the season from Sturm Graz in Austria. Hoffenheim have only won 4 times at home out of 16 attempts. And their actual form, Hoffenheim, it's been stop, start. They lost 3-2 to Freiburg in match day 30. And then prior to that was their only win out of the last 5. Weirdly, though, that was at home, right? That was one of the 4 wins at home. That was 2-0 against Mainz. Again, that was part of a 7-game streak without a win for Mainz. Dortmund, they're one of the form teams because they were coming into this game having been unbeaten in 4. Last time out, they beat Gladbach 3-2 at home. Actually, these 3 wins, a draw and a loss out of their last 5. Again, ambitions firmly set on Champions League. And they're one of the form teams, Dortmund, actually, along with Ole Werner's Werder Bremen. If we have a look at the starting lineups for the 2 sides, 3-4-2-1 for Hoffenheim. Oliver Baumann, Germany's current number 1 in goal. A back 3 of Kevin Apogumba, alongside Patrick Ostigard, not to be confused with Patrick Oosterhaag from Freiburg, and Arthur Chavez, that's your back 3. A midfield 4 of Butler on the left, Kadabarak on the right, Anton Stack and Geiger in the 2 in the middle of that 4. And then Kramaric on the left-hand side alongside Bazumara or Baz Toure in that attacking trio. They're playing off Adam Hozek, who is on a rich goal-scoring streak this season in the Bundesliga. As for Dortmund, which is really what you hear, especially Tolly from Die Fußball Bros, go and check out his channel as well, Tolly and Philly. It's a 3-4-2-1 with Gregory Kerbel in goal, a back 3 of Rami Bensebaini, Voltemade, Anton and Nicholas, the double fridge, Nicholas Sulle, there's your back 3. A midfield 4, which is comprising of sort of wing backs. Daniel Svensson, the Swede, on the left. Julian Ryerson, the Norwegian, on the right. The middle 2, Felix Numcheka and Emre Can, still captain because he's the golden boy under Niko Kovac. Jamie Gittens on the left of an attacking midfield 3 alongside Julian Brandt. Yes, Gonzo, we love him because he's always linked with Arsenal. Recent rumours, though, linking Julian Brandt with Ole Werner's Werder Bremen. And up front, it's the African goal-scoring sensation of this season, Sehrou Guirassy. Now, this game, if you followed it in real time, was an absolute roller coaster. And the standout is the number of offside goals and VAR decisions, especially goals that were given as offside on field by the refereeing team and then overturned at the end. Absolutely insane game in which there was 12 minutes of injury time at the end of the game, where it was won and lost, I should say, for won for Dortmund and lost for Hoffenheim. We'll dig into that now. The opening goal was from Sehrou Guirassy. Again, this was an offside call given by the team. It did look marginally offside, to be fair, though. That ball over the top of the defence in which Patrick Oostergaard was just completely caught out. Guirassy, it did look like he'd sort of bent his run. He kept himself onside. He dragged the ball to the middle of the goal and lashed it home past Oliver Baumann. And after a couple of minutes, that VAR decision then overturned it, and it was given to Guirassy. I had some other data points that I did want to flag up. So Actually, we'll come on to it, right? Anyway, so 1-0 to Dortmund was then made 1-1. Anton Stack set up Adam Hosek. Actually, if you just rewind the clock, there was a goal for Hoffenheim that was given offside and VAR offside. That was a brilliant goal, almost like the reverse of the pair that scored the eventual equaliser on the hour mark. Hosek found Stack, and it was a fantastic left-footed volley down the dead centre of the goal, past Kerbel and everyone else that was trying to mark various Hoffenheim players. That was given offside. But on the hour mark, like I say, Adam Hosek scored from an Anton Stack, very similar to Dortmund's goal. Adam Hosek just dinked the ball up over that back three of Dortmund, and Hosek on his left foot manages to lash the ball home. It did look like it clipped Rami Bensebaini, and that slight deviation, as you know, as a former member of the goalkeepers union, any slight deviation that changes the trajectory of the ball, the minute you set off on either foot to dive, well, it was, good night Vienna, or good night Munich, or just good night Kerbel in this case. But it wasn't good night, was it? Because both teams kept on attacking. And in the 74th minute, Daniel Svensson with his second assist of this match. How many for the season is that? Daniel Svensson, second assist of the season. And both of those, again, coming in this game. He put a dinked ball over the top to Julian Brandt, who was drifting out wide of the box to the right. And it was a majestic finish on his right foot with a volley that went low on the diag, almost pinpoint precision, past Oliver Baumann, into the bottom right-hand corner of the goal. Dortmund fans in raptures. Yeah, majestic finish. Julian Brandt clapped that one in. Gonzo even jumped off his little pedestals there. That put Dortmund 2-1 up. There was a bunch of substitutions going either way. Brandt was then yanked off. Carney Chuck Wemmicker came on. Giovanni Reina with another start. Interesting that he came off of Nicholas Sue, which was, very, very interesting. David Jurasek or Jurassic. We can't be demonetised for doing an impression, can we? Anyway, we'll plough on. David Jurassic, the Czechia wide player or wing back, he found Pavel Kadaberak, and his header looped over the top of Kerbel to make it 2-2. Then we go into this crazy phase of extra time where there was a ball sent down the right channel from Reina. Carney Chukwuemeka was going one-on-one pretty much with Oliver Baumann, who came out of his goal. Now, he likes to be physical, and again, you can check with Tolly from the Football Bros on this one. He likes to consider himself a physical player, so he came running out. The two collided. It was a 50-50. It's fair game, Your Honour. At least it was, according to the on-field referee. The ball sort of bounces around on the edge of the box. It comes to Jurassi, who manages to pin back the defenders that were trying to steal the ball from him. He lays the ball off to the right-hand side, and with Oliver Baumann, you could argue, feigning an injury to try and stop the play. Well, it wouldn't matter because he was out of his goal. And as the ball went wide to Valdemar Anton, he sort of just, stroked. He passed the ball in, basically. He passed the ball into the centre of the goal for 3-2. There was chaos and pandemonium because all the defenders led by Oostergaard were running towards the referee, but it didn't matter. He was having none of it. It ended up being a 95th minute winning goal. That was out of a game that had, 12 minutes of extra time. You've got to stop and catch your breath for all the data points, right? So Jurassic scored in that game. That was his 17th goal in the Bundesliga this season. He's actually scored 30 all told across Champions League and DFB Pokal. Like I say, he's the leading goal scorer currently, or leading African goal scorer in the Champions League at present with 13. Also got 17 goals in the Bundesliga. Julian Brandt scored, right? Well, that's his fourth goal, and he's come up with 6 assists. 6 assists. Put my teeth in. I've not booked that dentist appointment just yet. No, I haven't. And then for Vladimir Anton, he's now scored 2 in 4 games. The previous was the equalising goal in the Klassiker in a 2-2 game there with Bayern Munich. That should bring us all up to date in terms of the data. Again, quite an exhausting but quite a high adrenaline-fueled game where arguably, VAR did itself justice by intervening as and when it did. Our prediction, well, look at that. It was 2-0 away win to Dortmund. Well, we got it right, and it was an away win, but we got the sheer amount of goals completely out of all proportions. One more time then, let's just check the table. So for Dortmund then, that puts them currently on 48 points in 6th place, which is Conference League place, but really they're after Champions League, which is currently being occupied, by Freiburg in 4th and Frankfurt in 3rd. So they are 3 points behind Freiburg, our Dortmund. As for Hoffenheim, what once a couple of games ago was looking pretty comfortable, now they'll be starting to feel a little bit more pressure because with only 3 games to go, they're currently in 15th. That's only 5 points clear of Frank Schmidt's Heidenheim, who are currently occupying the playoff relegation place in 16th. Yeah, this could be a rather tasty end to the season for both sides, because again, that's a Dortmund team that are in form, as are Werder Bremen, and pushing for Champions League, and a Hoffenheim team that up until only a few weeks ago looked completely safe, but there's only 5 points difference with 12 points on the board. Ooh, this is going to be an exciting finish.